What does it mean to have a relationship with yourself and with your body? Well, in this episode, we are going to talk about exactly that. You can expect to learn some of the reasons as to why we get into exercise the way we do, whether that be more aesthetic oriented, more strength, more longevity based. And you can also expect to learn what a healthy relationship with your body and self really is. By the end of it, hopefully you will have a better shape of what the texture of a relationship with yourself is, so that when you do go into your training or just approach to life, you can approach it from a better place for you. So to start this conversation off, I wanted to get into a little bit of the why. Why is it that people train? Why do you train? Why do I train? Well, you can't answer those questions for anyone but yourself. And the reality is that people train for a wide range of different reasons. However, a lot of those reasons are often rooted in a point of pain, or a pain point that is potentially unresolved in the individual or maybe in yourself. People will often try to seek out behaviors to not experience that type of pain again. An example of this would be if I'm going to the gym and I'm trying to improve my aesthetics, and that's my main focus. And I do so almost to an unhealthy degree where I start to get almost this obsessive behavior with how it is that I'm looking. Then potentially there could be a point in my past or in my history where I was shamed or maybe looked down upon for the way that I looked. There's a lot of amazing transformational stories of people who go from being overweight to being totally shredded. And I applaud those people. I do. I think the issue starts to arise when you begin to progress into territory in an unhealthy degree. When you start to build what I would define as an unhealthy relationship to self, where now you're doing things maybe at the expense of yourself for this externalized outcome. Now, keep in mind that your body is always keeping score of what it is that you're doing. So if you're always neglecting your body and you're just beating it into the ground, you're not giving yourself active recovery, you're not doing exercises that are going to promote some level of longevity or sustainability in your body, your structure is going to remember that. And it's going to carry that with you no matter where it is that you go, whether you're in the gym or whether you're hanging out with friends, you're playing with your kids, you're hanging out with your dog, as I do. That is going to show up. And this is really the one vehicle that we have, our body, that is. This is the one vehicle that we have to kind of carry us through this lifetime. So if I'm in this goal or this action of always moving forward, even at the expense of everything else, the body is going to remember that and it's going to store that in some way. And usually the way in which that presents itself is through some type of ailment. That could be a disease, that could be pain. It could be a culmination of pain that then leads to a really, we'll say, catastrophic injury. An example of that with myself is I tore my ACL in my right knee when I was 17. And my body was starting to give me some indicators that something was up. Something was not entirely right. I was getting kind of weird feedback in through kind of my quad muscle, in through my right hip. I thought maybe it was just growing pains, but my body was trying to give me a signal that something was up. And I refused to listen to that. I refused to do really any form of strength work for my body. Any type of release work or stretching or lengthening, mobility, whatever terminology you want to use, I refused to look at my body in that way. And what ended up happening is it was a contact injury. I was playing hockey, but I believe that that could have been prevented had I just tuned in a little bit more to where my body was at the time. And for me, that was a very core lesson. I ended up going through reconstructive surgery. I ended up getting blood poisoning following the surgery. My whole right leg was almost like a yellowish green. And I remember just sitting in bed, looking at my foot, being disgusted with myself. And also telling myself, like, how could I not have listened to my body when it was clearly giving me signals, but I decided to just trudge the path ahead and continue to play hockey at the level and the way in which I was. And for me, that was a strong turning point in my identity. It really reshaped the way in which I looked at my body. I made really a pledge to myself at that time that I never wanted to be placed in that position again. So without making this too much about myself, it was that core lesson that then dictated kind of the trajectory and the path that I took really as a career. And now I help people resolve their issues of trauma, of pain, of improving movement, because I've had to walk that path myself. And often it's these pain points that we carry with us that dictate a lot of our behavior and action that we then carry into the world. And something that I wrote down for this episode is the awareness of, or the lack thereof, will be what defines your relationship to self and your body. And really what this means is the more that we can tune into ourselves and the way in which we are orientating ourselves to the world will ultimately be what defines our relationship to self and the world. And I briefly touched on the more, we'll say, aesthetic-driven individual in the gym, and that is a very broad brush. People go about getting healthy in a myriad of different ways. That was just one example of someone who was going in that direction almost in an unhealthy degree. Again, this is not to discredit people who really work hard to get themselves looking good or lose a lot of weight to get themselves to a certain place of health. I think that is incredibly important, and I would pat those people on the shoulder for doing so. That being said, there is the flip side of this coin where we can almost get borderline obsessed with optimization and perfection. This idea that if I just move in this way, that my body will feel better. If I just eat this diet, I am going to feel better. If I do X, Y, Z and integrate that into my lifestyle, then I'm going to feel better. And I think that can be a short-sighted approach to a lot deeper and integrated way in which we can start to look at ourselves and our body. Because oftentimes what we find works best for us is what we have been neglecting ourselves of for a long period of time. If I am, to use the overweight example, if I am overweight, I'm eating like garbage, I'm not exercising, I'm not doing anything really for myself, and then I do the complete opposite to that, you're going to see drastic changes quite quickly. On the flip side of that coin, if I'm constantly in this phase of optimization, of trying to get everything in my life perfect through my exercise, through what I'm eating, through my lifestyle, you can also be neglecting other parts of your life, such as your relationships, as an example. And something that I wrote down here is perfection is an ideal. It's a target, but not a reasonable destination. And what that means to me is that we can kind of use what perfect is in our brain as kind of this general target that we're kind of aiming ourselves towards, but it's not going to be something that we actually ever hit, because perfection isn't reasonably or realistically possible to obtain. And the reason for that is because humans, us, you, everyone else, we are not perfect. We are flawed beings, but flawed in the best of ways, because that is ultimately what makes us unique to the world, and then ultimately what we get to share with the world. Had I not experienced what I did when I was 17, would I be doing what I am? I doubt it. I honestly doubt it. I don't think I would have trudged down the path that I did in the way that I did had I not experienced that pain. To start to tie this in a little bit more to training, to the body, to this psychological element that we're kind of discussing today, I wrote here, a healthy relationship is developed in the understanding of struggle and having the ability to self-regulate through it. What this means is that in life, struggle is going to be inevitable. We all face hardship, we face hard times, circumstances change, people come in and out of our lives, but that is also the organic flow and nature to what life is. And it's in this struggle and this resistance that we start to carve and chip away at who we truly are and what our identity really is for ourselves. And this shows up in our body as well. This shows up both as sensory feedback, viscerally, and the accompanied self-dialogue. If that is always negative, what is that saying about you? And the reason why I wrote that down is if I'm always going into exercise, no matter what the style or type of exercise is, but there is this dialogue of degrading myself, of telling myself that I'm not good enough, what type of reinforcing relationship am I creating and building with myself? And chances are that it's probably not a very healthy one. So rather than judge and rather than demonize or degrade, what I would encourage you to do is inquire. Try to approach yourself, your journey of self, from a place of curiosity rather than judgment. That's been something I've really been trying to implement and focus on in my own life, is instead of just beating myself into the ground if I don't get something exactly right. It's okay to mess up and it's okay to fail, because it's in those failures that we get these core lessons and insights into the type of person that we truly are, as well as the person that we are becoming. So to wrap up this conversation on how to build a relationship with yourself and kind of what that looks like, and really just a conversation around inquiry of self, I want to leave you with one quote and one question. So this quote is from Frederick Perls, and it made me smile when I read it, so I want to share it with you. And it goes like this. We live in a house of mirrors and think we are looking out the windows. I'm not going to elaborate on that. I just want you to sit with that. We live in a house of mirrors and think we are looking out the windows. The question that I'm going to leave you with is, what is one area of myself I can become more curious about today? And in that is going to wrap our conversation on building a better relationship with yourself. Until next time, if you wanted to learn more about what it is that I do and my approach to exercise and really just looking at the body, you can go watch another video I did on the body in some way right